this Tuesday afternoon. Fire's shoes are quite big, but I'll try to fit into it, right? I will. All right, this afternoon on the program, we shall be talking about reducing the risk of drowning in pools, lakes, and beaches. My guest is already seated with me in the studio. I have the honor of hosting Aderonke Odeneye, who is the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of the Environment and Retired. Okay, she is the retired Permanent Secretary, Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Oceans. Good afternoon.
It's good to have you join me in the studio this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Glad to be here.
Belinda Aderonke Odeneye is a retired Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Environment and Water Resources. She has experience both in the private and public sector, service of the federal and the Lagos state government. She worked for 23 years as a scientific officer at the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Environmental Planning and Protection Division, which became the Federal Environmental Protection Agency, FEPA. Then to the Federal Ministry of Environment as an astute health, safety, and environment professional. She participated in many capacity trainings and international congresses, such as the World Congress on Safety and Health at Work in Frankfurt, Germany in 2014, Singapore in 2017, Safety and Health Exposition in London in 2016. She was also at the World Bank Certificate course in Environmental and Social Framework in 2019, among several other trainings, conventions, and congresses. She is a community leader, and she has served as the Safety and Environmental Chairman of Bagada Estate Phase 2 Association. She is a Fellow of Leadership for Environment and Development Lead and a specialist member of the United Kingdom-based International Institute of Risk and Safety Management. She holds membership in many non-governmental organizations, including the Nigerian Environmental Society, NES, Waste Management Society of Nigeria, and Friends of Environment Safety. I can actually go on and on. I mean, so now you know that she's in no smart measure able, to speak to you when it comes to safety. Talking about the environment, she's actually the right person to have this conversation with this afternoon. Once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, then, let's get down to business. What is drowning? I mean, yes, to a layman, we have an idea, but, I would like to hear from the perspective of a professional.
Well, drowning is actually when someone is submerged in water, below with the nose, the entire body in water, and cannot float. So the person is submerged, the nose, the mouth, and there's liquid in that person, so that person is drowning.
Okay.
So just to give a little bit of background, on the 25th of July every year, the World Health Organization set apart that day for awareness creation on drowning prevention. This year's own, it says everyone can drown, but nobody should. And the statistics is very enormous in terms of the number of people drowning, even falling into dry wells like the Lagos State Fire and Rescue
Service.
They work on. There's so many people falling into soakaway pits and into large gutters, some that they've removed the tops of the covering that leads into a big sinkhole below, which is supposed to act as drainage opportunities.
Okay.
So these are areas where people need to know that you can drown. So, and we need to prevent it. So we're talking about Day of Prevention, and we cannot overemphasize it because the quality and of every human being is great. We can't afford to be losing so many people and just saying it as statistics. We need to make sure people know that they should not drown.
So why is this prevention such a critical issue?
One, for me, I always say the value of the life of a human being is priceless. We should know that everyone has great potential. So when you lose one soul, you're losing so much potential, and it's going to the graveside. And we don't need the potentials in the graveside. We need it to solve the national problem. So why should someone drown when we can prevent it? So basically, when we talk about it before then, the person will be aware. For example, I want to go from Lekki to Marina, and I want to go on the boat. There is boating safety, and there are things that I should do. I should put on my safety jacket and make sure that it is the right one, it is fitted properly, so that it can make me to float. It's a device that should make me float if I can't swim. But basically, I would even, when I was coming for this program, I said, well, you want to tell people to learn to swim, you should learn how to swim as well. We should learn a bit of swimming, even how to float, so that if anything happens. I was watching a film called The Gemini Man, and I saw how they went to fight him in the water and pressed him down, and he couldn't stay that way for a while, you know. So it's good to know how to swim. If you don't know how to swim, then know how to float. So it's a skill that we should aspire to, you know, actually have, so that even if we don't use it for ourselves, we can save people. There's so many skills that we need to know how to do. But as we go on, drowning it happens a lot, and we need to cut down the numbers.
It's amazing to hear that the skill of swimming is different from that of floating.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. But then you mentioned something now about properly well-fitted safety gadgets.
Yeah,
when it's not properly fitted, what happens?
I've been in safety commission, I think from 2012 to 2018, so 6 years.
6 years.
We used to have boating safety. We'll go to different ends where the boats come on, and we'll just observe the people and see how they're coming out. There was a day I saw a very massive lady, and she felt, I don't need it.
Oh, really?
It doesn't even fit, and it's tight and all that. I said, no, you can get, if you know that's your normal route, you can even get your personalized ones, because your life is important to us. And there was one of my ogas then, he's retired to now. He said, oh, the government of Lagos State is paying me to come and tell you not to kill yourself. I think you should take that very seriously, because the government cares for you. Wow. So we were able to talk her into using it well. And what was it? She just felt that it was going to be a bit of a push and a tightness around her, and she felt she can do without. But can you swim? No. So you want to use a vessel that will take you to Ikorodu, and you're going from Lagos Island. You should make sure that at least you're comfortable. And if anything happens, we pray not. But precaution is also good. So that's really why we need to put on the right one. And if we know that that is our normal route, we can invest in a life-saving device for ourselves. Have yours, so anytime you're traveling, you use it.
All right, prevention, they say, is better than cure. So you do your part first by ensuring that you wear your protective gears before you even start considering the divers. All right, then, if you're wondering who I have been speaking with, I have retired Permanent Secretary Belinda Aderonke Odeneye in the studio with me this afternoon, and we are discussing reducing the risk of drowning in pools, lakes, and beaches. Madam Odeneye,
yes.
What are some of the common misconceptions people have about water safety?
Okay. The different types. One, you can feel that water, get enemy. So I can just, and then some people think that when they're on top of the water, they can just put their hand into it, wash their hands, do things like that.
Okay.
Some people are actually scared of water. They feel that, you cannot even see boundaries anywhere. no trees to quickly hold on to and all that. So we've tried to break that jinx that water can be as safe as driving on the road.
Okay.
So, but there are guidelines and things that like going on water transportation at night. You shouldn't do that because you cannot even see. And there's a navigational path where boats should pass.
Okay.
So, but when you are now in the dark, how do you use all your gadgets and be on the right path? So there are some things that should not happen. It's not like flying the plane. You can fly the plane at night.
Okay.
There's so many lights and all that. They put in safety devices. But for that, on water transportation, you should not use it at night.
At night.
It is very important. So plan your journeys safely. Get to where you need to go during the day. If you need to travel at night, then choose another option. Don't go by water. Because you cannot see where you're going. And there's so many issues that might happen if you just travel at night. Some of the accidents that we've had and the records that we've had are the ones that happened in the night, or when it was really, really boisterous and it was raining and the temperature and the tides and everything mixed together, the issues of climate change showing up their faces.
Okay.
And the boats maybe had also issues. There should be maintenance issues on the side of the boat as well. The ones that we use. And if we're talking canoe, for those who are fishermen and all, they also need to be safe. They also need to use their gadgets. They also need to make sure that they are not rowing their canoes when it is dark. They should not take it for granted that they know the scenario and the everything. You can't be used to it and say it's like the road that I know where I'm going. No, you can't. You can't create a path in the waterway like that.
Really?
There's a geographical waterway and how we should move, but you can't take it for granted in the dark. That's really the safety issue about it.
Okay. You talked about putting your hands in the water. I mean, feeling the water while the boat is moving. I mean, what's the problem in doing that?
Well, I just think it's erekere. In safety, we have what we call horseplay. When they say horseplay, it's not when the horse is playing at all. There's some things that you should not, play about. So talking about going to beaches and people just getting away from it, you go into a beach that is Atlantic Ocean, joining the lagoon and all that, and the tides are coming and someone feels that's the time for him to just jump in and all that, and the wave is so much and it carries them away. We've seen such people going for fun and then they end up coming with a loss of a person, bringing bitterness even into the family and all. So there's some horseplay that we should not play with. We call it horseplay in safety. Irekere. It's not when the horse is playing. There are some things you should not take for granted. At all.
All right, then we're talking reducing the risk of drowning in pools, lakes, and beaches. Quickly, let's take a look at what the roads are saying and leave the water for now. So generally within the Lagos metropolis, from what I can see on the screen here, it still looks very, very appreciable. For those of you around Ketu heading inward or Jota, it is very good. If you're on Lagos Ibadan Expressway coming in from Yanowuru heading inward, Alakbere, you have it steady connecting Alakbere from Ogutu end. I would appreciate if you can get me a comprehensive report. Control room, I am waiting for all of these reports, please. Yes, for those of you along Balogun also, it is a free one within that zone. Allen looks very good coming in from Ikeja and inward Allen intersection, looking quite okay. Kudrat Abiola Way also is not looking bad at this time. Bagada Urushoki by Newcastle, you have nothing to really worry about. It's still very, very appreciable. If you're coming in from Beja end, connecting Secretariat to link the toll gate, it is a free one. All right, you're still tuned to Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Safety Train is the program, and I have been speaking with Belinda Aderonke Odeneye, retired permanent secretary, Ministry of the Environment. All right, then. Let's move on now. How does... okay, so tell us some of the common risk factors for drowning in different water environment. Talk about the pools, the lakes, and the beaches.
Yeah, thank you. The pools. That's why Lagos State. Let me just start from what Lagos State has done. We have a safety commission in place, and the law came out in 2011.
Okay.
So it's really solid on the ground. We actually even have a swimming pool law right now that is being implemented.
Okay.
We're not supposed to run into a swimming pool, dive anyhow. You know, the things that should know. You should not dive to the deep end. You should not dive into the swimming pool even when you cannot swim. There should always be someone that can help. You know, it should be written out very clearly.
Okay.
That there is a life coach here who
Okay.
can help out.
Okay.
You know, children are not allowed to swim alone.
Okay.
So the real guidelines on how you should behave yourself in the swimming pool, in the beaches, in the lakes. Lakes are even really they're not moving water, so the fun there is limited actually.
Absolutely.
Because it's a salty place and people can quickly sink. So it's more or less just playing with water.
Water.
But basically for pools, you don't just dive into pools anyhow, deep end or shallow end. We need to have trained people around. Children are not supposed to run. We're not supposed to, be doing horseplay.
Okay.
And then they should have their floaters. They should, if you don't know how to swim at all, you should have your floaters, so that you're just playing with water.
If you don't know how to swim at all, what then are you doing close to water in the first place?
But because you can say, I would like to learn.
Okay.
You can learn how to swim. When I was working in the federal, like we were reading out, I actually had to go to Niger Delta, and I found out that the people in Niger Delta, because they're just all around water, they throw their babies into water and the babies just learn and they float and all that, you know.
Wow.
And then when we got there to do our work as inspectors and all, they said, oh, it's compulsory. Though you work for government, you need to know how to swim. They took us out for 2 weeks to go and learn to swim, and it was good. We knew how to, so that if anything happens or you get thrown into water, and at least you can float and shout for help and survive. So it's a very good skill. However, if anything happens, there's a drowning and all, there's still things that can be quickly done. There's what we call the cardiopulmonary resuscitation to get the person out, make sure the person is breathing, put the person in a recovery position, making sure the fluid comes out of the mouth.
Okay.
What do you press, you know? So such skills as well, you and I need to know it, even if we are not safety professionals. We need to be trained in first aid, because no matter what, if you don't need it, somebody else will need it, and you don't know when you will need it, and you may not be able to help yourself. So if other people know how to do basic things, I remember someone, a friend of mine who is a nurse, they brought in an old lady of 97 years, and they said she had issues with cardiac arrest. And they kept doing the CPR, and as they were doing it, her ribs were breaking because she was frail.
Ooh.
And the doctor said, keep at it. We're interested in the heart jumping back to life so that the person lives.
Okay.
When we get the heart moving and breathing, then we will look at the bone that is breaking.
Broken.
And I'm like, wow, this is the main thing. So the same thing with having the skills for CPR, for first aid. We all need it at our fingertips. It expires every 3 years. I also need another one now. I've done 3 years several times. Well, it's also good anytime someone is in a bit of trouble,
Yes.
you know what to do and how to help the person. So if by mistake somebody falls in and drinks excessive water. You're able to bring the person out, put the person in recovery position, let the water come out, press and do CPR until help comes. Somebody is calling 767 112
Okay.
for the doctors or the ambulance to come and help.
Okay.
Fully.
When you say recovery position, so when we know that when people come down with cardiac arrest and a couple of other cardiovascular issue, there is a particular way you lay them on the floor, on the ground. When it comes to the case of water, and you want this person to emit or pass out this water, how do you place this person on the ground?
Okay, we really have to do practical. It's difficult to say on the radio, but
Okay.
it has to be on the side with uplifted mouth so that the fluid flows out in a position where the fluid flows out rather than going back to the lungs and all that. So in a way where, of course, the person is breathing, so you'll be feeling the warmness from the. So it's a place where you would raise the head up.
Okay.
And then the legs, there's a recovery position. Is what we call it.
Okay.
You put the legs on top of one another so that the person is twisted a bit in terms of not lying straight.
Lying on the side.
Yeah, on the side.
Okay.
So basically, it's a training position that people should know.
Yeah.
So that whoever is being choked or is with water, with fluid would know how to do that. And then if it's someone that is standing in the position, there's also what we do in terms of making sure that the water in the chest area moves out. You hold the person from the front with your hands locked together like that and give it a quick push.
Okay.
If not,
like the person's chest hitting your own chest.
Yes.
Okay.
The other opportunity for a young child is also to use the back.
Okay.
The heel of the hand, you use it on the back. So these are things that we, after doing the theory, we do the practical so that people just know what it looks like and they see it with the eye and it stays in the mind so that we can help one another, because the value of our lives is the one that is so important, and we should do anything to reduce the number of unnecessary and untimely deaths.
Okay, so now we're dealing with climate change, and with climate change, it comes to a couple of factors. How does weather, water condition, or time of the day influence drowning risk at beaches and lakes?
Well, powerful question. Climate change is real.
Absolutely.
As a scientist, I know that the ice cap is melting, the heat is increasing, there's the volume of carbon dioxide in the air is much, and there's global warming. So, and when there is global warming, there is high sea rise level. There is increase in the volume of water. So, a lot of places we have a way of assessing the risk by telling them the volume of water that is already in that area and what they should do. I'm sure that you've told the people in Owode, Lede, and so many other areas to leave a particular area,
the river banks,
move up to a higher level because of what is going to happen. So it's for them to take that risk factor into place and obey what is being said. So such climate change definitely helps to increase the volume of water, which is flooding as we speak. But if you're actually in any situation that is leading to flooding, make sure you move to the higher level. I remember the Ogunpa, whatever that happened long time in the 70s.
Yes.
The guy was told to just jump on the fan and hold on to it, and that saved his life. He moved on. So those who followed the push of the rush and when something is moving with pressure and a lot of volume, it can carry people away. But
definitely,
the one who had that safety precaution held onto the fan and his feet was not touching the ground. And when the push was off, he was alive to tell the story. So I love what you're doing for us here
Thank
at
you
Traffic
so much.
Radio, telling us that you love us, you want our lives to be meaningful, and you want us to display the entire potential of our lives. So we should heed this warning.
Madam Odeneye, before we end this conversation, there are two questions I would like us to touch. So you would answer each of these questions in a minute, so we can actually touch the two of them. Now, we have established some of the things, some of the risk in going close to water, the risk in staying around water, regardless of your status, if you know how to dive, swim or not. Tell us some of the first aid measures every single person should know. It could be at home, it could be anywhere, it could be only saving grace around someone. What are the things you should know as a person?
Thank you very much. You mentioned home because I didn't want to leave that out, because people can drown at home, even in their bath. So bathtubs are getting out of fashion now.
Sure.
So we've seen children, they say they're filling up a bathtub and they're inside, and then something happens. They hit their head and all that. And apart from hitting the head and people knocking out, we need to put bath mats in the bathroom.
Okay.
Change to shower and have railings. We should not move about with wet feet. And slippery towels. Slippery towels. So we should have gripping or something close to like a rug, so that when you step out of the bath, you're standing on something that has a bit of friction and you're not slipping off. So it's slip, trip, and fall hazards that we find that makes people to fall down, drown, especially in water areas. So the skills to have, first aid skills, the safety measures to have are to be very, very, very careful with water. Make sure that you have supports and pools and all that in the house. In the pool, I've already mentioned that we should have people who are there with us. We're not swimming alone.
Yes.
Definitely, we have all of there are workers at swimming pools that make sure that you are there and you are safe. We have lifeguard. We call them lifeguard. So that's also key in going to a pool to swim.
Right.
And you must make sure that there's enough railings around. You know, there's not wet floor all around the pool. It must be dry. So many within the short time that we have.
Yes.
But we should make sure that nobody is drowning, because as soon as you lack oxygen, and you are submerged, and there is water in the wrong place in the lungs, it's calling for what we don't like.
Emergency. All right, then. Quickly, in 30 seconds, you want to tell us some of the government regulations and guidelines in place to ensure safety in public places.
Fantastic.
In 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. We have the Lagos State Law of 2011, Lagos State Safety Commission Law, and then under that we have so many code of practice, approved code of practice. We have the specifically for this swimming pool rules and regulations, and it's being enforced. It's not just up and running, it's being enforced. It's on the website.
Yes.
When we Google it, we'll find it there. And Lagos State is the only state that has a Lagos State Safety Commission. It has been joyfully created right now. We have safety cadre.
I'm afraid we have to wrap this up now.
We have safety cadre. So it's a profession that Lagos State takes very, very seriously. So we should progress in our professionalism in safety in Lagos State. God bless Lagos State.
All right, then. Thank you so much. I have been speaking with Mrs. Belinda Aderonke Odeneye, a retired permanent secretary, Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources. She's worked with the federal, the state, and also the private sector. I must say a very big thank you for coming on the program this afternoon. One thing we should take away from our conversation this afternoon, she stated categorically that, yes, we hear that water don't get enemy. But then again, you have to think twice before you go close to water. Whether you're drinking or you're swimming, you can actually choke when you're drinking. And then the other side of it, when you are close to it in terms of drowning. So please take precaution when you are around water. This is where we'll draw the curtains on today's edition of Return Trip. Safety Train, I beg your pardon. My name is Taiwo Baruwa. The program makes a return next week, Tuesday, for another insightful conversation. Until then, do have a great evening.
Have you ever been stuck in traffic for 3 hours? Would you like to navigate through the rush hour with ease? Let us get you to your destination with the latest traffic update, well spiced up with some great music. Lagos Traffic Radio, 96.1 FM. Traffic news round the clock.
To cook correct food, they always give me joy. That's why anytime when they cook like this, they always season them with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, tatasheo, shombo, onions. No one know they put. Now he make my pikin them, they always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never will. I want more.
You see? Sama all your food with correct vegetables. Come season them with no cubes for that to get delicious taste. Today, chop better.
Mikolo, my engine sounds like brand new. Is it not the same Mobile Super 1000 you used to service it?
Now the same Mobile Super 1000, but levels don't change.
Yes! Mobile Super 1000 XHP is now improved to meet the highest standard of quality APISN. So, whether you buy Mobile Super 1000 XHP, Mobile Super 2000 semi-synthetic, or even the new fully synthetic Mobile Super 3000, you are guaranteed the APISN perfection in every drop.
Make it mobile.
Welcome to Train Schedule from Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Traveling using the standard rail gauge is as follows. Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Depart Lagos and Ibadan simultaneously at 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. respectively. Lagos to Ijoko Lagos Mass Transit Train LMTT departs Ijoko at 6:30 a.m. for Ido and departs Ido at 6:15 p.m. for Ijoko. Ido to Kajola LMTT departs Kajola at 7 a.m. for Ido and departs Ido at 5:30 p.m. for Kajola. You can avail yourself of these schedules to have a pleasant ride on the standard rail gauge and Lagos Mass Transit train. And that is the train schedule from Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM.
This message is brought to you by Mike Frost at Lagos Traffic Radio.